You just finished something hard, maybe a workout, maybe a project you've been putting off for weeks. Maybe you finally said the thing you needed to say, and for a moment you feel it, a quiet, warm rush, like something inside you exhaled. And then, slowly, it fades. You try to hold on to it. You replay the moment. You look for the next thing that might bring it back. But the feeling is already gone, and without it you feel strangely flat, like the world is slightly less saturated than it was a minute ago. This isn't a personal failing. It isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It is your brain doing exactly what it was built to do, hundreds of thousands of years before you were born. Your brain runs on a set of chemicals. You've probably heard of some of them: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins. These are sometimes called the happiness chemicals, which sounds simple, even pleasant. But that name is a little misleading, because these chemicals were never designed to make you happy. They were designed to keep you alive. Let's start with dopamine, because it is the one most people have heard of and the one most people misunderstand. Dopamine is often described as the pleasure chemical, the thing your brain releases when something feels good. But that's not quite right. Dopamine isn't really about pleasure at all. It's about anticipation. It's the signal your brain sends when you are on the edge of getting something your survival depends on. Think about what life looked like for your ancestors on the open savanna 200,000 years ago. Food was not guaranteed. Water was not guaranteed. Safety was not guaranteed. Your ancestors had to go out every single day and search for what they needed, not knowing whether they would find it. In that environment, a brain that felt nothing while searching would have given up. A brain that felt a pull, a drive, a low-level excitement toward the possibility of reward. That brain kept moving. That brain kept hunting. That brain survived. That pull is dopamine. It rises not when you get the reward, but when you are chasing it. It is the feeling of being close, of making progress, of being one step away from something good. And the moment you actually get the reward, dopamine drops, because the chase is over. The survival job is done. This is why finishing something never feels quite as good as you expected. This is why buying the thing you wanted for weeks feels flat after a day. This is why the anticipation of a trip is sometimes better than the trip itself. Dopamine was built for the hunt, not the feast. Now meet serotonin, which works differently and is just as misunderstood. Serotonin is sometimes described as the mood stabilizer, the chemical responsible for feeling calm and content. But its evolutionary job is more specific than that. Serotonin rises when you feel respected, when you feel like you matter to the people around you, when your status within your group is secure. For your ancestors, this was not a luxury, it was survival. Status in a hunter-gatherer group meant access to food, protection, mates, and the cooperation of others in times of crisis. A person with no standing in the group was a person at risk. The brain learned to reward you with a steady, stable sense of calm and confidence when you were valued by others, and to pull that feeling away when you felt invisible, dismissed, or pushed to the margins. This is why being ignored feels physically uncomfortable. This is why a small public embarrassment can ruin an otherwise good day. Your serotonin system is not being dramatic. It is running an ancient calculation about whether you are safe within your social world. Then there is oxytocin, which your body releases during moments of connection. Physical touch, eye contact, trust, the feeling of belonging to someone or to a group. Oxytocin is sometimes called the bonding chemical. And that name is closer to accurate, because for your ancestors, bonding was not optional. Humans are one of the weakest large animals on the planet. We have no claws, no armored skin, no exceptional speed. What we have is each other. The groups that stayed together, shared food, protected one another's children, and coordinated during hunts, those groups survived. The ones that fell apart did not. Oxytocin is the chemical that made staying together feel good and separating feel like loss. This is why being around people you love, even doing nothing in particular, can feel more restorative than almost anything else. Your body is registering something ancient and essential. You are not alone. You are held. You are safe within your group. And finally, endorphins, which your body releases in response to physical exertion and in large doses to pain. Endorphins are your body's built-in painkiller. They allowed your ancestors to keep moving through injury, to run through exhaustion, to push further than the body should technically allow. The runner's high you've heard people talk about is a direct descendant of this system, the feeling of euphoria that appears not when you start running, but when you've been running long enough that your body decides you must really need to get somewhere. Here is the pattern you might have noticed across all four of these chemicals. None of them were built to last. Dopamine rises during the chase and drops at the finish. Serotonin stabilizes when your social position is secure but requires constant renewal. Oxytocin peaks during connection and fades when contact ends. Endorphins flood in during exertion and recede when the body returns to rest. Every single one of them is temporary by design, because a brain that stayed permanently satisfied would be a brain that stops surviving. If your ancestor felt completely content after a meal, they might not bother looking for the next one until hunger became desperate. If they felt permanently bonded after one moment of connection, they might not bother maintaining the relationships the group depended on. The chemicals fade so that you keep moving, so that you keep seeking, so that you never fully stop. You were not built for a steady state of happiness. You were built for a cycle. Seek, find, feel good briefly, return to baseline, seek again. This cycle kept your ancestors alive for hundreds of thousands of years. It built every civilization, every relationship, every achievement humans have ever produced. It is the engine underneath all of it, which means that the strange flat feeling after the good moment passes is not failure. It is not something broken inside you. It is your brain resetting to ready, clearing the system so you can feel the next pull, the next drive, the next reason to move. Your ancestors felt this too, every one of them. After every successful hunt, every reunion with their group, every moment of hard-earned rest, the warmth arrived and then it went, and the next morning they stood up and started again. The chemicals were never meant to stay, they were meant to point, and somewhere inside you they still are.